Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. And today is the second session of or bi-weekly session of what I call as Elevate Current Affairs. So now, basically, you are aware that when we are preparing for UPSC Civil Services, and if you have given the attempt or if you have heard or taken the cognizance of the previous year paper, you will realize that uh, the current affair basically becomes the ground of uh, checking or testing your preparation. And there is a syllabus which is called static syllabus, which most of us get a great hands on. And then there is something called as current affair. But the trend which has been seen in the last 10 years is that they somehow mix together the current affairs and the static syllabus. That is, for example, if you see that we are in a situation where the conflict zone of the world, like the what are the conflict zones of the world? One of the prominent is Israel and Palestine, Ukraine and Russia. Now you see the headlines of things which are happening in this part of the world. For example, we are covering here a period of time which is 16 September 2024 to 30th September 2024. Okay, during this 15 days, what happened in that time? So there is a war going on in both sides, but they're different to each other. And there was a pager blast which happened in Lebanon, and everybody mentioned that around 2,700 pagers blasted in sync together. How is that possible? So they felt that okay, this is because of the Israel and Hamas war which is going on. Now, in current affair, what happens is we read the news, this is what is happening, this is the conflict which is going on. But the exam comes with a background of how did the conflict start? Where did the conflict lead to? Why were they silent till so many years? Why suddenly this happened now? And what is the context? What is your thought? Okay. Now, can India mediate in between? These are the certain questions. Should India supply weapons to Israel? Because is it aiding genocide? These are the questions which come in the paper. Now, if you are a candidate who is watching this and when he was already given mains and looking forward for interview, now the perspective over there is with all the background, the awareness you are now aware of all the history and everything. They'll ask you as an interview candidate that tell me what are the five things you think Israel and Hamas are impacting India relation with the world. Now, this is a very, very applicative way of looking at that. So, with all this kind of demand which is happening, what I felt as a mentor that, there are so many things available. There's some beautiful effort taken by so many good publication house, good, big institute, and a lot of, YouTube and a lot of channels. There's so much knowledge around there. What's not happening is we do not have a time of 2 hours to capture that knowledge. There are because the moment you keep on downloading, you download so many things that actually do not have time to check once. Okay, what have you downloaded? Is everything relevant or not? And then suddenly, when the exam comes, everything piles up so much that you realize, oh my God, I have not even done little bit of it. So with that thing, I felt that I should start something which is very keeping you intact with the UPSC's trend, and something that we sit for 2 hours today, and in that 2 hours we complete this 15 days, and that kind of puts us or puts our brain, anchors our brain. I can guarantee you in today's 1 hour or 1.5 hours of session, you will only capture some 5% or 10% maximum, not more than that. I'll be talking. I'll be doing some talking about some this story, that story, that story. So much of content going around. You will not even capture all the 60%. You'll realize that I'll take the recording, I'll check the recording, I will do this. When was the last time did you actually dedicatedly watch recording? I must ask, or you must ask to yourself, when was the last time did you actually pull out something from history and give that 2 hours which you were to give it that time? It's very, very difficult. Why I'm asking you these questions are because now you're sitting in front of the laptop or maybe your tab or maybe your mobile phone. You might be at the busiest of the moment. It is up to you to how to utilize the next 1 hour. If you can keep yourself distraction free, a very calm, and as an active listener, then you will gain a lot from this, which will also be there in your memory, not just for the exam, but for lifetime. So, with that emotion and with that effort, I would like to start our session today. And as I do always, that first I would want you or request you to kindly close your eyes and take a deep breath of at least three times. Take the full oxygen, even if you are in Delhi, even if you are in most polluted zone. But I would wish that you take that deep, deep three breaths before you start and calm yourself and imagine yourself having the need to know focus for the next 1 hour with this app without feeling anxious about what is happening around you. Take three breaths, another one. Superb. Now we start with our session. It's a hands-on session, which I mean is I've already given you a handout, which is there. Uh, if you have not received your handout, either keep you have the digital copy of it, or you can have you should have taken a print out of it. I'm assuming that you have the digital copy of it. I hope everybody is able to open the digital copy. And my intention is that if you have the print copy, you can write over it. So, can someone tell? I mean, following the democratic principle, do you have your handout with you, digitally or physically? A single yes will lead me to take you to the next step. Do you have anyone can just chat and let me know whether you have the handout with you. You can open up in a different tab. Just let me know. At least I feel that you are also equally okay. Okay, fine. I'm giving you the handout in the chat worksheet, so you can open it in another tab. Okay, so I've given you the link. It's a Google Drive link. Download that PDF. Okay, now quickly starting the session. I mentioned about like this is the second session of the month, and I launched it on 15th of November. And I mentioned you why this current affair and who should attend. People who are giving prelims, people who give mains, and also people who are preparing for interview will benefit. And is it paid or free? It is a paid program, and this is an open session. And uh, so today's session is a free session as well. Why it is a paid program? Because in this program, there is, if you see the handout, I have uh, GS mains question, GS essay question, and I have evaluation. Basically, you send me the question, I evaluate and send. So because I'm providing certain service individual to each other, even each of you, and that's why I've charged up and making it more relevant for you to be part of the discussion and other activities. So the first session or the open session is more about what we do in the handout together. We go through it, and I kind of put you around all the questions around it today's session, and then we take forward from there. So I'll just put my screen off and go to the handout. Can somebody just confirm whether you can see the worksheet in front of you? Can somebody confirm this? Can you see the worksheet? Okay, fine. Assuming that you got to be little participative, actually, I request for being little participative with chat at least, or you can unmute yourself or let me know just for the sake of the class and time. So in this workshop, you will see that the first half of the way I have distributed this session is we do a current affair roundup first from 16th September to 30th September without the year. What has happened in these 15 days in the history of India? Then we go through what has happened in the history of world, and then we also talk of what are the national and international days that we observe during this. Then we summarize on national and international happening which has happened during this, which is prominent. And then I've also categorized news relevant as per UPSC syllabus, GS mains syllabus, paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, paper 4. And then I've given a practice MCQ. Here it is only 10 questions, but once you enroll and all, you get the larger amount of questions in the worksheet and separately, basically. And then there's a mains answer writing question as per the paper, and this is what is the activity. You are expected to submit your answers for evaluation. And then there is essay topic again, and you are expected to write an essay, I mean, like a paper itself, full essay, and send for evaluation. For IS interview preparing candidate, when we have one-to-one session, we actually run through these topics and understand your perspective, how much balanced you are, what is the kind of your perspective around the topic. So you'll realize that what I've mentioned over there. And then yes, I've summarized various value added programs that as a mentor I run. I'm not an institute, but as a people who are doing self study, and I try to help or boost their self study. Coming to the session today, 16 September and September 30. Now, historically in India, you know that India got independence in August, 15th of August. Okay. And after that, in month of September was basically one of the most grueling and crueling month. It was considered when it comes to history of India perspective. Okay. So when what happens is you have to see that how UPSC sees the trend. Whichever year it is today, for example, 2024, they see what happened 100 years before, what happened 75 years before, what happened 50 years before, what are the organizations celebrating 100 years, 75 years, 50 years. All these kind of points become very, very relevant when we prepare for current affairs. And then we need to become that organization becomes relevant and we need to prepare for that. So in 1932, if you remember on the communal award, Mahatma Gandhi ji has started a fast. So there can be a separate question like how many fasts Mahatma Gandhi ji took in his lifetime for freedom movement and at what point. Why I'm asking you this is because this is entire session which we do here is to generate curiosity curiosity so that after this session you go and whatever is stuck to your mind you go and research about it and keep it in your mind. So today's session is around that. So on 16th September, if you remember the communal award story, it happened. On 18th September in year 1948, Operation Polo was completed. Hyderabad state or the princely state of Hyderabad was inducted in Indian Union. Operation Polo. In 2008, severe Delhi blast had happened during that time. On 20th September, Pune Pact, a very important historical event leading to Gandhiji's fast to communal award and leading to Pune Pact. In 1946, on 20th September, Jawaharlal Nehru was heading the interim government of India. Okay. So this is very important if you remember the sequence, how India got independence. And for every candidate who is giving this exam, they need to consider, they need to know month wise what happened from 1945 when the World War got over till 1947. There is an entire sequence of event which happened. On 22nd September 1965, Indo-Pak War was ends in a ceasefire. On 24th September 2014, Mangalyaan successfully enters the Martian orbit, making India the first Asian country to reach Mars. And on 25th September 1959, All India Radio launches its first television broadcast from Delhi. 1916, it is the birth anniversary of Deen Dayal Upadhyay ji. On 26 September 1942, freedom fighter Manmath Nath Gupta, M.N. Gupta, a close associate of somebody is annotating. You want to say something? Okay. You can unmute yourself. I think I've given that rights to unmute. You can unmute and chat. On 27th September, we celebrate from 1981 the World Tourism Day. And if you see that India actually participates very heavily in it, and there's a lot of program which happens on World Tourism Day. On 1833, uh, English was made the official language of India as per Charter Act of 1833. You can remember your history. 28th September, birth anniversary of Bhagat Singh. 1907, he was born. And similarly, on the same day, 1928, Hindustan Socialist Republican Association, HSRA, led by Bhagat Singh, Chandrasekhar Azad, and other key members. On 30th September, birth anniversary of Raja Ravi Verma, a greatest painter in Indian history from Trivandrum. Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala. 1932, Pune Pact was signed between Gandhi and B.R. Ambedkar, ensuring single Hindu electorate and with reserved seats for depressed class. So when we are talking of, these days, caste-based census, please remember the history, what has happened. In the history of the world, what are the significant event? In September 16, 1810, Mexican War of Independence begins. Miguel Hidalgo's Grito de Dolores called for the end of Spanish rule. In 17 September 1787, the United States, USA, United States Constitution was signed in Philadelphia by delegates of Constitutional Convention. In September 18, the first publication of 1851 New York Times happened. In 1931, Mukden incident leading to Second Sino-Japanese War. On September 1985, a massive earthquake it won't be a big stuff, but yes, during that time it was considered a big earthquake when we talk on Richter scale. And in 1893, you remember on September 19, 1893, New Zealand became the first country to grant women the right to vote. Any women-led empowerment, women-led issues, globally world picture of women, you can use this fact. September 20, Ferdinand Magellan begins his expedition to circumnavigate the globe in 1519. In 1946, Cannes Film Festival opens in France. You will see a lot of news coming in during September from Cannes Film Festival. September 21, 1792, France abolishes its monarchy and declares itself a republic. In 1937, J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit is published in the United Kingdom. September 22nd, 1862, US President Abraham Lincoln issues a preliminary Emancipation Proclamation announcing the freedom of slaves in Confederate territories. 1792, the first French Republic is officially proclaimed, marking the end of the monarchy. 23rd September 1846, German astronomer Johann Galle discovers the planet Neptune. And in 1932, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is officially established under King Abdulaziz ibn Saud. September 24, Migration of date, Islamic calendar, 622 CE. In 1957, Little Rock 9. Now, this is blacks' right, African American student entering to school, studying school. In 25th September, Spanish explorer Vasco Nunez de Balboa becomes the first European to see the Pacific Ocean from the Americas. And in 1789, the US Congress passes the Bill of Rights, first Bill of Rights. So when we talk, see why I'm see these are the points. They're all different subjects of relevancy. When we actually do polity, we understand the various constitution makeup of but other democratic nations. These are all. Uh, if you are preparing, you will realize once if it is news to you now, but slowly you will prepare that you have to read all these things some or other way in subject somewhere. September 26, 1580, Sir Francis Drake completes the circumnavigation of globe. September 27, Mexico gains independence from Spain, 1821. In 1998, Google is officially launched by Larry Page and Sergey Brin. Google Day. So, there's a whole lot of Google Doodle contest which happens in 27 September. Are you aware of what is Google Doodle? So, in 1924, September 28, Geneva Protocol banning the use of chemical and biological weapons in is adopted. Remember this as Geneva Protocol. When did this happen? This happened between the two world wars in 1924. So, what are the international days which are observed during this duration? September 16th is called as World Ozone Day, and it happened because of the Montreal Protocol. These are all MCQ type questions which comes. 18 we set up Operation Polo. September 21 is World Alzheimer's Day. 24 Mangalan, yes, 25 World Pharmacist Day. Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Jayanti, World Tourism Day. Bhagat Singh Jayanti, World Rabies Day. Pune Pact's anniversary. Global event are Independence Day of Mexico, Constitution Day, National Heroes Day, World Water Monitoring Day. Now, World Water Monitoring Day is very relevant because even India celebrated India Water Week during this time, this year. National Thank You Day, World Bamboo Day, National Day of Thailand, International Day of Peace, Armenian Independence Day, World Rhino Day. September 22 or 23rd is called autumnal equinox, when both day and night have equal this thing uh, times. International Day of Sign Language, Guinea-Bissau Independence Day, World Farmers Day, Rosh Hashanah Day to World Rabies Day. On September 29, World Heart Day. Now, this is very important because of you'll see a lot of articles coming on the healthcare and especially heart care, which becomes relevant for the nation. As a young nation, we are having a lot of facing such challenges. Uh, then international right. After that, I have summarized on the various September during this time, whatever kind of made a detail of topics, high headlines of these topics during this duration. So, one nation and one election was in news again. It was not for the first time; it came as news again. Unified Pension Scheme (UPS). A detail about such schemes you have to remember. I mean, I definitely won't fill in the same data. If you realize, okay, UPS scheme, then please see the authentic source or government source where you can find UPS scheme and write about the note in your noting book about current affairs. And something which very important was Ayushman Bharat PMJ anniversary and how important it has been, what has been its relevance. And in international use, Quad Summit happened, Pact for Future, UN Out Pact for Future, and India Singapore relation again because Modi ji was traveling across the entire September month, he was traveling internationally. Then the Tapi gas pipeline was discussed again. So India and then GCC, Pacific Island forums, India's military, this the Operation Sadbhavna, Venus orbital mission. So these are certain things which happened. So now you will see that in the section 5, I have put that use news as per UPSC syllabus. So where you will see that as per the GS paper, I have from the topics which are there in the newspaper, I have tried to put it in the category wise in that. See, everything is not important, but knowing about them, having an idea is definitely relevant for you. And this is something which happened during that duration. So hence, this is I put it over here. And so you go through them. How much ever you remember is fine. It's okay. It's just when the whole thing is when we see the questions, this is where actually the sequencing happens. Like what happened in September, what happened in October, what happened in November. When you see those questions projecting in the prelims or even in mains. So I've given certain questions, for just for revision kind of a sake. So these questions are only 10 questions over here because otherwise the handout will bulk up. But MCQs of the detailed MCQs of all other small incidents and things which are relevant for UPSC, I will be sharing details on, differently on that part. Now, before I go forward, let me stop and allow you to, unmute yourself and discuss if you have been following me till now or any challenge which you have faced in understanding the context and what is the other thing, what is coming in your mind. You can unmute yourself and let me know. Let's take a 2 minutes break. Okay, now continuing, I think. as I see that mm, I mean, there's no chat or anything. Assuming that you are following, uh, we move forward. So you will see that as the mains questions also I have put mains question as a part of an assignment of this program. I would request you to write your first uh, mains question as per UPSC uh, paper or UPSC this thing and submit it. So you will see that in the paper itself, I mean, in this handout itself, I have given a link to write EPSC. So if you download this, I don't know whether you can see this screen. So there is this paper, 10 pages of UPSC standard. Now, when you print it out on A4 size, definitely a little bit of size change will happen, but this is the kind of long paper which you get in UPSC, and I would request you to send in your answers in these format itself. So now these are the questions which I have carved out from the for this. I know this is a little exhaustive. What happens is we don't want to miss out on any aspect as such to discuss. Having an awareness about them, in one day awareness doesn't happen. It builds up. So my whole thing is over here that in the next, I mean, when we do take the session to proper session mode, what happens is I also fix up on couple of topics and speak on them. For example, one nation and one election. This is a separate video itself where I'm talking about, I will be talking about what exactly it's this concept, why it is relevant, why does the, what is the benefits, what are the non-benefits, what can be the benefits, and um, like, was this ever practiced or is any country practicing it? So these are certain things which, which I'm sure when you, the whole purpose is to create your thought lines in that. We will do it without being political about it. As a civil servant, what is it going to affect? How much it is going to affect the exchequer? How much logistical requirement will it happen? Will center or state, if somebody will overpower on something, center becomes more powerful or state. But in the democratic principle which is followed in India, whether which is powerful, center or state, why opposition is there, like these are the certain things which when we discuss around this, you will be able to answer questions like this. For example, here the question is India's diversity in culture, language, and tradition remains one of its greatest strengths. In light of the ongoing discussion around one nation and one election, critically examine the potential implications of this proposal on India's federal structure, democratic processes, and cultural diversity. Now, if you are not aware about India's federal structure, you do not understand what are the democratic processes happening in India, what are the three tier of democracy, how will they be impacted. Now, all this is polity, okay, and the cultural diversity. The first line is says that this is India's strength, and then they pick up like this is in the news. Critically examine. You don't have to criticize. I mean, now when you give me submit me the answers, only then I'll be able to know whether how much are you have understood the question. But the demand of the question is Do you think one nation, one election will stand its name if we implement it? What do you feel? What is your thought? Now, if you are coming from states like Northeast, you'll have to understand what is the stability of government over there. How much elections happen, state elections? How many times the elections happen? What is the cost to the exchequer? Same for various region of this country. Do we have stable governments or unstable government? 5 years is the timeline. Does that happen or not? So you have to be little bit aware about that when you put a historical context, and then come to the point that if one nation, one election reduces the number of election, reduces the logistics aspect, then it becomes advantageous. But does it, or I'm asking you a question, does it provide with assurance that you will get a majority government? Does it provide with you an assurance that you will get a majority government which will complete its timeline of 5 years? This is not shown anywhere. For example, when the first election happened in 1952, it happened for state center. Now, after that, when the first states were formed in 1956, State Reorganization Committee, and they tried to do elections in state. After first two terms, none of the states could actually have a stable government. Within 1 year, within 2 year, re-election or president's rule had to be taken. So if we mandate something around one nation, one election, will it actually make it democratically possible? Or in democracy, because it is power of the people and a majority has not been happened. If the democracy wants a re-election, what will happen? So these are, I hope you are able to appreciate what I'm trying to discuss, the points which I'm trying to discuss. These are certain questions which will check, which we as an examiner will check once you write your answer and say. What you need to prepare, you need to know the federal structure of the country, what is the democratic processes involved, why we are called a democracy, where is the process of election happens, where is the process of selections happen, how will that be affected, what will be the role of central election commissioners, what are various constitutional bodies that will be affected, all that you need to put it in this. So like that, there are certain questions. I would rather want you to take one question or two question and submit it as a practice, and let us take that first step. It is very very hectic. We all wait till the time result comes, then only we will prepare. Let me clear the prelims first. Let me clear the mains first. Now it is just, you must have heard by many people. In fact, UPSC is like a marathon. So you cannot just wake up one day and start running the marathon. You have to slowly, slowly add everything to the exercise to, making you having that stamina to run to that marathon. So break that belief, shackles which is there in your brain. Write a answer and send for evaluation. Maximum, you will feel embarrassed that what have you written, because you do not have a knowledge. You lack a knowledge about something. Now imagine you upgrade yourself with that knowledge, you upgrade yourself with skill, the same question will become a strength for you. So just choose out two, three questions and write and send it for evaluation. Similarly, for essay, uh, choose out any one, two topic, how, whatever it is, but write. I'm not even telling you to write on time, put your word and all that thing. Just write your thoughts and see whether you understand the nature of the question. Are you able to appreciate the fact that you know, you are able to write also. So people who are also waiting for prelims result. Sorry, prelims, the mains result. It is expected to come around next week. So when we have our one-on-one sessions over there, uh, these are the areas where we will discuss, because the interview, it is more of a perspective matters, and what is your way of looking at things, and how do you understand India's stand on the global forums and various historical events, which you may recall or you may not recall. Okay, like one common question, not common question, like usually it is like whatever you have written in DAF, from that question comes. That I understand very well. But if you see the interview, it is the DAF part is something to give you a little acquaintance when you start the interview. After first 5-10 minutes, slowly, the ambit as per your DAF's first impressions, things go around it. If it is about economy, then there's kind of put around things about economy. If it is about climate change or global health, something like that. A sequence of event happens. So that's how we build up in our one-on-one with when it comes to interview preparation. People who are doing for GK, I mean for this current affair roundup, they would also immensely benefit that when a topic is being spoken or talk about, these are the areas through which they will have to run their mind. So this is the part of it. So I've kind of listed of whatever it came in news during that time, and I've kind of, so there have been some beautiful articles also in news during that time, especially related to emergency article due to because of Manipur. Use of money, constitutional clause of emergency. Then there was a beautiful article on water, uh, uh, water reservoir of the countries. So these are certain things which the as a editorial and as a special feature those uh, newspaper had covered, and that's a quite knowledgeable thing to have. Now that depends whether you have that in a newspaper or not. But when it comes to uh, preparing for this session, I kind of take cognizance of these two couple of newspapers, and then PIB, Press Bureau of India, their releases, their explainers. I also take care of any state, any government updates, union government updates, which happens during that time. So what happens is basically whatever is administrative updates, whatever, when you become a UPSC civil servant and you deliver as a part of ministry or the job role, which is prominent and relevant for the country, that is what I try to pick up over here, and not every other information, because yeah, otherwise news, there's no end to it. So this is about the session. And do you have any challenge, any questions about the session? Let me know. I also want to quickly run through, various programs, value-added programs, which I undertake. On 3rd December, we will have a session on open session on GSSA. People who are preparing for this attempt, you will benefit immensely part of it. It's again a value-added essay a program to be completed in 6 weeks, and the fees is around 1,500 plus GST. And the answer evaluation is already on, that if you are a part of, you want to send your answers. Yeah, actually, I am sorry that I'm not speaking in Hindi, because I have designed all my program in English medium. So you may not, while the worksheet will help you, but I will try to keep it to English medium only. I'm very sorry about it. Because what has happened is, uh, I am okay with all the mediums. That is not a question. But I have prepared, or if you have joined my any of the program, every content I am giving in English medium itself. So what happens is, if I speak in Hindi or I speak in a more language which is comforting to you, I lose out on the various, the effort for making you excellent in that medium in which you are going to appear the exam. So I'm very sorry about it. You would have, you should have given me a acknowledge, I mean, beforehand itself. Uh, Basically, all my mentoring session is for English medium, and I do not differentiate. But somehow some people and I get. No, I have been. If you have been in my orientation session, you would have understood that I have put all my learning and effort through English medium. मैं कोई अंग्रेज नहीं हूँ मैंने भी खुद बड़ी मुश्किल से मेरे लैंग्वेज से इंग्लिश यू नो we did our graduation in English medium and like things like that things changed मैंने अपनी स्कूलिंग हिंदी मीडियम से की थी तो बट आई विल फोकस ऑन इंग्लिश मीडियम इटसेल्फ आई एम सॉरी अबाउट इट So next program is this unlimited answers evaluation for GS mains, and you have around 1,000 rupees plus GST, and it is valid till August 31st. You can send unlimited GS mains answers for evaluation, and you will get a video evaluation plus one-on-one session schedule as per mutual ability. Uh, there is a personalized mentoring session which I do for, uh, and which is like the thing is, I because today I don't know how many of you believe it, but there is something called Black Friday going on or some discount going on. So I've also done that. So there is a for doing a personal mentorship, which is one-on-one session with me, weekly interaction and tracking of things, of your preparation and getting evaluation and everything around it. It is around 7,200 plus GST, and I'll be. This is there in the 12,000 is the actual rate, but because of the discount, it is 7,200. And if you feel that you want to be a part of it, but what I suggest is firstly go on one-on-one session with me. Let us understand whether you need it or not. Because you have been a registered student, I will send you a free first one-to-one session. Kindly use the session opportunity to schedule one session with me. Use the calendar, block my calendar, and you will be able to understand whether you need it. And on this current affair program, which is bi-weekly program, it is around 1100 plus taxes, and it is till this May 2025. This I'm charging only because to be on the live class, but otherwise the session will be also, you know, if you just want to be a listener of it, you join my free program on my email, GS Foundation. You will get all the necessary things to prepare for yourself. But yeah, I have, it's not free for the reason that I provide a service of evaluation that I mentioned earlier. So with this, uh, I kind of stop my session. If you have any questions, please you can now unmute, and I will also stop the recording of the sessions. I would also want if anybody feels like I know I understand they would not want to open up uh, mm, immediately, and I would like to have a discussion also. Uh, just a second. So with this, thank you for attending the session. I'm closing the recording and live stream over here, and then we can be here for another half an hour.